This is WKYT News.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for WKYT News at 6:30. We do have a special edition of our show tonight. We're going to get to some of those big headlines in just a little bit. But first, we want to talk about the Cats game that just wrapped up there in Knoxville. Pretty big win tonight. We're going to start our all-blue coverage with Lee K. Howard and Lindsey Goff in studio.
Hey there, Kelsey. Yeah, got interesting there late, but what a win by the Wildcats. 85-81. Kentucky Rocky tops Tennessee for a second year in a row in Knoxville, with Tennessee ranked in the top 5. A big win not only for the capping off of the season, but also as it pertains to Nashville next week.
Yeah, according to CBS, Kentucky has locked up the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. There's still a few games that haven't been played yet or haven't gone final, so we won't have a for sure seeding just yet, but it's looking like Kentucky could have that number 2 seed and a double bye next week.
If nothing else, they certainly do have that double bye next week. It's always important to skip that Thursday game when you go to Nashville. Let's get to the highlights of today's game. Final game of the regular season. Like I said, tough road environment. Not sure what Calipari was saying on the bench before the game, but made Reed Sheppard laugh. Justin Edwards gets Kentucky in the books first. A long jumper from the top of the key. Remember, Edwards committed to Kentucky over Tennessee out of high school, right? Tennessee started the game 1 of 8 from the field. Agata Onyenso inviting Dalton Knecht to his block party. Knecht gets it back and can't convert again, but the defense was good, especially in the post. But on the Vols' next possession, Knecht connects on a triple to take the lead. After the Cats took a 7-4 lead, Zakai Ziegler ties it with a 3 plus the foul. That was the second foul on Rob Dillingham, and he would sit the rest of the half. Kentucky gets it going with Reed Sheppard, the freshman from London, with a pull-up jumper. That sparks a 9-0 Kentucky run. Antonio Reeves, step back, 3, ties the game at 12. Boy, he was good. Next trip down the court. How about Sheppard again? Cats take a 15-12 lead. It was Reed and Reeves trading buckets there. How about another triple from Antonio Reeves? Wildcats up by 5, 18-12. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Edwards begins to heat up. First, the long triple from the left side. Then on the kick out from Sheppard, Edwards, he was feeling it. And how about one more? This is not a replay. Edwards with 13 first-half points. Kentucky goes up by 11. But guess what? Like they did all day, the Vols, they go on a run of their own. 7-0 run, or should I say a Dalton Knecht 7-0 run, right? A pair of threes and a free throw from Knecht, make it a 4-point game at 31-27. Final minute of the first half. Kentucky breaks up this run. Sheppard to Reeves on the back door. Kentucky had a 33-29 lead at the half. Let's go to the second half now. Kentucky leading 35-32. Sheppard turning some defense into offense. The steal on one end, pull-up 3 on the other. That kid is fearless. First trip to Knoxville. Edwards driving. Finds Reeves on the cutback, and he raises up and throws it down. Reeves putting the team on his back at this point. 6-point Kentucky lead. Dillingham spent most of that first half on the bench. Here he gets the hoop and one. 45-39 after the made free throw. Kentucky heating up again. It's Sheppard in transition. That's good. Then, off the Tennessee turnover, Reeves gets an open look from the wing. Kentucky up by 12. This is when they're going to pull away, right? Not so fast. Tennessee, when they needed a bucket, they go to Knecht. It felt like it was Kentucky versus Knecht today. A one-man wrecking crew. He finished with 40 points. Meanwhile, Kentucky has a roster of players that can hurt you. Sheppard's certainly one of those guys. Another 3. Then Sheppard driving, kicking out to Edwards. He is shooting with so much confidence. Cats up by 14. Under 9 minutes to play. 11-point lead. And Dillingham with a pull-up 3. Ooh, that's ice cold. Back to a 14-point lead. This game was far from over. Vols catch fire. Knecht. You knew that was going in. And that was followed up by a Ziegler 3. Vols go on a 9-0 run. We're back to a 5-point game. Under 3 minutes to go in this game. Reed Sheppard, he is him, knocks down a big 3. He told me earlier in this week that this game, this rivalry game, was big, and he certainly played like it today. Sheppard, again, a pair of 3s. He was 7 of 10 from deep. The second triple puts Kentucky up by 11. It got really interesting in that final minute, though. Kentucky turned the ball over 3 times in the backcourt, allowing the Vols to climb all the way back in it. Now, Dillingham did have a free throw with 5 seconds to go to give Kentucky a 4-point lead. Vols with one more shot at it, wouldn't go, and it really didn't matter. Kentucky secures the 85-81 win to secure the double bye in the SEC tournament. My goodness, what a win that was for the Wildcats, Lindsay.
Yeah. So in the pregame show on UK Sports Network, John Calipari said he anticipated this being a Final Four type environment. He called it one of the toughest environments they were going to play in, one of the biggest tests that they would have this season. Our sports director, Brian Milam, was there. Brian, would you agree that that had a Final Four feel?
I will tell you this, and it's funny you mention that or ask that, because I was, in the last 5 minutes, it reminded me of Assembly Hall in Indiana during the Christian Watford game. It was physical in here. The press table I was seated at moved 3 times, and I don't mean slightly moved. It felt as if there was an earthquake in Knoxville. Thompson Bowling Arena was on fire. It was as loud as I have heard the Big Orange building in a long time. And then, just when you think Tennessee is going to take over or Kentucky is going to let their foot off the gas, here comes Kentucky again. It is amazing the ability the Wildcats have in scoring in bunches, giving up points in bunches, just to come back and score in bunches again. It is one of the most entertaining teams that I can think of in my 26 years of television, because you really don't know what it's going to be like. I want to go back to that John Calipari technical, because I thought in some ways that was the turning point. I thought, all right, the technical, Tennessee's down, 7 points, something like that, and I thought this might be the turning point for Tennessee. In fact, it wasn't. It was Kentucky who got hot and went up 14 points, and then, of course, as you mentioned, had to hold on down the stretch. It was just an amazing second 20 minutes in Knoxville.
Hey, Brian, can you hear us? What did you see from
post-game?
Yes, Brian. Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
Our mics weren't open there for a second, Brian. We wanted to ask you about Reed Sheppard, the freshman from North Laurel, comes out his first ever trip to Knoxville, and he told me earlier in the week that this was a big game for him. Just talk about Reed today and how big he was for the Wildcats.
Well, just to show you how big he was, Jeff and Stacy just passed me right before I came on camera. I have never seen Jeff Sheppard that animated in my entire life. Yeah, they won the 98 national championship. He's running around as if tonight was almost like a coronation to another one. And who knows, maybe it could be. We'll wait a few weeks to figure that out. But he had 6 points at the half. He finishes with 21 in the second half. And every time he comes up, how do you not think the ball's going in? He's going to make the right pass. He's going to make the right decision, and it's always at the wrong time for the opposing team. He is one of the most poised, if not the most poised freshman I can think of that has such an impact in every phase of the game. And it's not just the offense and the defense. He sees the floor. If basketball had a special teams unit, he would be the captain of that. He would be, since we're all Cowboys fans, he'd be the Bill Bates of the special teams, because he's always involved in the loose ball. He's always involved in making the pass. He finds a way to get open, and then he knocks down the big shot time after time after time. In the first half, it was Justin Edwards. In the second half, it was Reed and Reeves that just lit it up. It was quite amazing.
Hey, Brian, Reed, not just good on the court, he's a great teammate. We talked to Justin Edwards a couple of weeks ago. He said when he was having a bit of a slump, Reed is the guy that helped pull him out of that. He was not in a slump today. Justin Edwards was not. Could you speak on what you saw from that freshman?
Well, Edwards, we see him go in spurts all the time. He is on and then he's off, like a lot of rookies will be. But in that first half, he was the 20-minute champion at halftime. He was filling it up getting open. And I've always thought when Justin is shooting well early in the game, it's a good thing for him and the Wildcats. If he's off early on, I think he kind of loses confidence in his offensive game, which will affect his defensive performance. So when he got off to the good start and Kentucky was up by 4 at the break, I thought, well, let's see what he does in the second half. He didn't do much because the other guys did, but he was the springboard to get Kentucky into a good position.
All right, thank you, Brian. We will check back up with you here in just a little bit, but we want to get to some stats right now and take a look at what the Wildcats did first as a team.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. Here's a look at the game. By the numbers, the Wildcats outshot Tennessee. The Cats shooting nearly 46% from the field, over 50% from three-point range. That's not too shabby. They went 15 of 29 compared to the Volunteers shooting 12 of 35. That's a lot of threes for Tennessee. They average about 26. Kentucky was nearly perfect behind the charity stripe. Tennessee went 13 of 19. Kentucky wins the battle on the boards. They've talked a lot about that, 40-38. Tennessee had 5 more assists, and the Volunteers, they don't turn the ball over much, just 7 times today. The Cats converted those into 10 points. Tennessee had just 9 points off of UK's 16 turnovers. Kentucky's player of the game, we talked about him. Reed Shepherd, the freshman guard, finished with 27 points off the bench, shooting 7 of 10 from three-point range. He had 5 rebounds. 4 of those on the defensive end. We talk a lot about his defense. He impacts the court on both ends. 5 assists, a steal, and a block. Antonio Reeves does deserve an honorable mention shout out because he continues to average over 20. He's finished with 27.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got to mention Reeves in the game that he had. It's so funny. He's the only player in the country, I think, that consistently scores in the 20s, and nobody talks about him as one of the better players in the nation.
It's quiet. You expect it.
He scores 27 today and doesn't even get his own player of the game. But if you don't have the senior leadership of a guy like Antonio Reeves, then you don't have the performances of these freshmen like Reed and like Justin Edwards to allow those guys to play so well. So big props to who should be an All-American later this next week, Antonio Reeves.
And I think it's obvious who Tennessee's player of the game was if you watched. Fifth-year guard Dalton Knecht, a whopping 40 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, and a steal. I mean, 40-point game.
40-point game. And I thought it was interesting what in the CBS postgame, Seth Davis, I believe, or Clark Kellogg, I don't remember exactly which one said it, but they basically said Tennessee's biggest factor right now is they have one player. They're a one-man show, and it's hard for teams in the tournament to go very far if you're completely reliant on one player. We obviously know that Kentucky is not relying on one player because they have a whole team of players who can lead the team
4 in double figures
at
today.
any point, right? All right, so we're going to have more from Knoxville coming up. We're going to hear from John Calipari as he gets his post-game comments after today's 85-81 win on Rocky Top. We'll be right back.
There's a fire.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's cut to the Zine logo before I do some sexy, overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free. Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's cut to the Zine logo before I do some sexy, overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.
And welcome back to our all-blue post-game show as the Cats defeat the Volunteers 85-81 in Knoxville. Just think about this. If not for the tip-in for LSU, the Cats really end the regular season on a high note, but they still do have a lot of momentum going into that SEC tournament next week.
Yeah, a top 15 showdown in Knoxville. This is back-to-back years. Head coach John Calipari has beat his buddy Rick Barnes in Knoxville. Two exciting games. Let's hear what he had to say in his post-game press conference after a big win on Rocky Top.
I'd like to see some stats, if I could. Two really good teams, battle it out. They're veteran players, and I told Rick and I talked last night, and I said, the thing about your team, it doesn't matter what the score is, they think they're going to win. And after the game, that's what I told them. I said, I told you that. They're down 9, and all of a sudden they're figuring out how they try to win. That's a veteran team. We were trying some different things, but Kinnett went absolutely bonkers on us. And the plays that bothered me were the threes, because we're saying, make him bounce it. And then, guy backs away or doesn't run through, but Justin was really good for us. Ugo was really good for us. I don't play guys with 2 fouls in the first half. 14 minutes to go in the first half, Robert has 2 fouls. Now you kind of see why. He stretched the game out. He made the plays that got us up double digits. And he doesn't have to play thinking, I can't foul, I can't. No, he's fine. He's got 2 fouls. He can play basketball now. And I told him, if you don't want that to happen, don't foul. Don't reach in. Don't get underneath the guy when he comes down on a shot, and you stay in. So, but he was good. And Antonio, I just thought, for again, a great rebounding team, and we out-rebounded them. I mean, we fought. But again, they won the championship. I told Rick what a job he did with this team, and think of the gauntlet he played. The last 4 games, the end game was us, and we're playing better. We're healthy now. We got Trey's not all the way back, but at least he can play. So, but it was a good game.
Daryl, all right. John, did you even have a conversation with your guys about needing to win today for a bye next week at the SEC?
No. The only tournament that matters to me, that after this weekend, that tournament. So, no, we never discussed it. I don't even know if they know. But I did tell them after the game, since you're winning, we're going to get a bye. You get Sunday and I give them the rest of today off, and then they get Sunday and Monday. They get 3 days off. So no one caught that. That's good. This is a very.
Cal, you mentioned Ugo there. Didn't even take a shot the entire game, but the tone he set in the first half around the rim, how big a deal was that the first 20 minutes?
And the biggest thing was he rebounded. How about Antonio Reeves being our leading rebounder? Reed gets 6. Ugo gets 6. Justin Edwards gets 6. I mean, we had a lot of guys. We just had to fight. This is one of those games. Everybody's got to be in the fight. You can't leak out. You got to battle. You got to hit first. They're a veteran team. They very rarely do they lose here. Have they lost a league game here? What's that? And they returned to favor.
John, you talked earlier in SEC play about Reed, and he said, trust me, stick with me. There was never a doubt here. I mean, for him to come through in the second half Is that what you were seeing out of him, knowing that this was going to come through in a big moment?
The only thing, the late game, the people that are really following us know late game, he's kind of, he plays late game like it's early in the game. But that's why he is who he is. So my choice is just, I may have to take him out in some of these stretches. Because, I kept telling him we got 2 turnovers or 2 timeouts, and we still were throwing balls, not crossing half court. The one with under a minute or whatever, I should have called. And I was yelling to them, but the official was too far, but they didn't hear me, so that's on me. But he will make free throws. How about the threes today that he made? I mean, and understand, Tennessee won the championship. This game was at the end of the day for them was, it's a Kentucky game which they want to win, but it wasn't a life and death thing. For us, our kids played, competed.
Cal, how much does the offensive firepower that obviously we've seen a bunch this season, saw a bunch today, give you confidence that sort of no matter what the situation is,
Well,
you guys have a shot?
Doesn't matter how I feel. I hope they feel that way, as long as they pass the ball to each other. Again, we had 16 turnovers. That's not who we are. We only had 12 assists. I thought there were times where Antonio held the ball. You haven't seen that all year. And I told him, if you can't get a shot or drive, throw it to somebody and see if they can. What I keep telling these guys, whoever you throw it to can play. So you don't have to just throw it to them. Let them make a play. And so, but it's, again, I got the youngest team in the country that is coming together, but it's the youngest team in the country. There are times, did I have 5 freshmen out there at times? Well, even if you say Ugo reclassed. So he's might as well be a freshman. He's just turned 19. So we were pretty young, with Antonio being the veteran, and he played really well.
John, you've been doing this a long time. Is there anything more gratifying than to see someone like Justin Edwards keep fighting and finally punch it through?
Well, I told Tom we were walking, and I just said, I know there were people, you should take him out. That's it. He's not this. And I believed in him, and I told him that. And the greatest thing for me, you know what he said to me? Coach, I believe in you. I said, kid, just keep working. And it doesn't always crack on your time. Sometimes it takes more time. The biggest thing with young kids, they've got to be their biggest cheerleader. And the only way you can do that, you can't be phony with yourself. You've got to be a guy that lives in the gym. If you're phony, there ain't no one helping you. You got to be your own cheerleader. When things don't go right, I can't believe I missed it, but I'm making the next one. But what he's giving us at that position is a 6'8". Now we play 4 guards, and he's 6'8". Antonio's 6'6".
All right. One thing that I want to mention, too, is before the game, the reports were that the Thompson Bowling Arena or Food City Arena, whatever they call it now, was almost completely orange. Just a little bit of blue got into that arena today. And you think about it, that's the last time that Kentucky's going to have to play in that kind of environment. So that also speaks to how well they were able to play. We've seen them play well down the stretch of several games this year. But you go to the SEC tournament next week, I've got a feeling that that's going to be a lot of blue in Nashville.
Catskill.
That's right. And then no matter where they go, I would even say if they end up in Spokane, Washington, they're still playing in front of a...
BBN loves to sightsee.
That's right. Somewhat of a home crowd. So a big win in a very tough road environment. And this team has been battle tested all year long. And Calipari, he's got not only 1 or 2 guys that can lead a team into the tournament, he's got a whole roster of players.
Yeah, our Brian Milam still in Knoxville. He was there for the game. He joins us now live. Brian, we talked a lot about Reed Shepherd, but Antonio Reeves, John Calipari touched on him, also had 27 points. I mean, talk about his performance and what he was able to do today.
Well, I think when you look at Reeves, he just does everything so smoothly. It's fluid. He rarely gets into a situation where he has to take a bad shot. He's always under control. The young man can just flat fill it up. And I don't think anybody could have ever imagined he would have been this kind of scorer when he comes from Illinois State a couple of years ago. But Antonio Reeves is, in my book, he ought to win the award for the best shooting guard in the country. He should be a close to unanimous first-team All-American. but he's so quiet and unassuming until he snipers you for 27, and then you're like, oh, yeah, there's Antonio Reeves. One thing I want to point out, in the first half, Kentucky was 1 of 2 at the free throw line. They end the game 16 of 18, so they were 15 of 16 shooting at the line in one of the most pressure-packed places they have been in all year, if not the most. And certainly Kentucky doing everything possible to, John Calipari said, let's go back to what he said a month ago or whenever, we're built for March. Well, here we are in March. And Lee K, you mentioned it. If not for that weird bounces of the ball at LSU, this ball club is playing even better than their record shows, and their record is lights out right now. And blue does get in everywhere. Now, it was sporadic. I think some of them were hiding in neutral white or neutral black, but there were several chances of let's go big blue, even in Knoxville. Then they got drowned out by the orange a little bit. But it was a wonderful game for both. Dalton Connect was just beyond impressive. And Kentucky, though, the team, more impressive, getting this win, as you said, now number 2 seed in the SEC, and they don't have to play till Friday afternoon, which you wonder, maybe, could we have the trilogy of blue and orange in Nashville for the championship on Sunday? We will find out then. That'll do it for me here in Knoxville. Let's go back to you in Lexington.
All right, thank you, Brian. And I appreciate that blue pocket square. You were not going neutral today there in Knoxville. You were wearing that blue very proudly, Brian. All right. Big win for the Wildcats, as like he said, they go into Nashville next week for the SEC tournament, and the path is there for them. But as John Calipari said in his post-game comments, he's really only focused on the tournament after that one, of course, because that's the one that Kentucky has to perform well in.
Right. A win in the SEC tournament is just the cherry on top. You want to win in the NCAA tournament, which Selection Sunday is a week from tomorrow, believe it or not. It's coming up. All right, well, that'll do it for us on our All Blue Recap Show. Thanks for watching. We're going to send it over to Kelsey at the desk. Make sure you tune in to Game Time tonight at 11. We're going to have all your scores and highlights there, including more from Brian in Knoxville. And I'm going to send it over to Kelsey.
All right, guys, we love talking about a win. Thanks so much. Up next on WKYT, a family in Powell County needs your help after a devastating house fire. Why they say they're looking for a miracle. And a nonprofit is helping Central Kentuckians get those taxes done for free. How you can get involved.
Good things come.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's cut to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free. Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's go to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.
This is WKYT News.
Thanks for joining us for WKYT News. I'm Kelsey Soto. There's a family in Powell County that needs your help getting back on their feet after a devastating fire yesterday. Several of them remain in the hospital tonight. As WKYT's Julia Narvaez-Munguia shows us, they're looking for a miracle, and it is our top story.
They lost everything they had. They had just put their tax money into it, remodeling it, and now there was nothing.
Michelle Brown's daughter, Kaylee, and her husband, along with 5 children, live in this home. They called it their forever home. They bought it on March 8th of last year, and exactly 1 year later, it burned down.
My grandson, Sebastian, is 4 years old, and he's autistic. And he had a Shih Tzu dog that was his little emotional support animal. And we lost Willow in the fire yesterday. He not only lost his home, but he lost what to him was his best friend.
1-year-old Kiki was in her parents' bedroom when the fire broke out.
I was barefoot running through the mud. I asked him where the kids were, and he pointed to the back bedroom. I tried the back door, it was locked. He knocked the window out of it, and I went to the window in the very back and put my arm through it, ripped the blankets down and tried to get them out that way. And I tried to get to the little girl, and I just couldn't. It didn't matter how low I got to the floor, that smoke was too thick.
First responders found the mobile home engulfed in flames, and that's when they entered the home in search of the child.
Searched around for her and could not see her, could not find her. And he said it was almost like there was a glow when he found her. I've been doing this for a long time, and to see a mobile home fully engulfed and that fire stop at that last bedroom, and that's where she was found.
Kiki remains in the ICU while her dad is in critical condition in Louisville. While Kaylee and her husband will be out of work recovering in the meantime, Brown says she knows that God and the community around her will be there for their family throughout this time. In Powell County, Julia Narvaez-Munguia, WKYT.
Friends have organized a GoFundMe page for the family. So far, it's raised more than $5,500. We will have a link for you in this story right now over on the WKYT News app. A man in Wolfe County has been captured after an 18-hour manhunt. Kentucky State Police say Pedro Torres faces several charges after a handful of schools were placed on lockdown yesterday after a shooting. Law enforcement say he shot someone in the Bethany community of Wolfe County on Friday. He has been taken to Three Forks Regional Jail, now facing charges of assault, dating violence, unlawful imprisonment, and terroristic threatening. Switching now to our weather, it's been another gloomy, rainy day here in the Bluegrass, but as we spring forward tonight, will we see a return of spring weather anytime soon? Let's get on over to WKYT First Alert meteorologist Ben Beddoes tracking what we can expect.
Yeah, we're going to see that return to spring weather, but not necessarily immediately. But it'll be coming fairly quickly after we spring forward. We take a look out there right now, and it's pretty chilly. We have temperatures generally into the 40s, 46 in Lexington, 43 in Richmond. We are 43 in Danville, 45 degrees right now in Somerset, 45 in London, 44 in Jackson, and 45 in Mount Sterling. Still got some light showers right now moving across the south side of town in Lexington into Jessamine County. Richmond seeing some light rain right now, also just east of Danville, down towards the Conway area, Rockcastle County, also into Lincoln County as well. Seeing some light showers. Some more steadier showers continue to move across portions of southeastern Kentucky, mainly across Clay County into parts of Breathitt County, Owsley County, into Perry County. Hazard seeing some a little more steadier rain, and even parts of Knox County still seeing that activity. But this will continue to pull out as we go through the rest of the evening. But it's going to be chilly. Temperatures are going to continue to fall through the 40s tonight, eventually down into the 30s as we go into tomorrow morning. We look at tomorrow's forecast, and we're looking at a chilly and breezy day. It'll be dry with sunshine. Temperatures starting out into the mid-30s, and then we climb up into the mid to upper 40s into the afternoon. So, yeah, chillier day. Really, we're going to see probably many spots feeling like the 30s much of the day. We look at the future radar here real quick. You can see as we go into tonight, things start to clear out, and look as we go into the day on Sunday, we are looking dry. We are looking pretty sunny as well. And we're looking at a dry stretch here over the next couple days. I'll break down the details coming up.
All right, Ben, we'll be checking through the clouds to check back in with you. Tax day is a little more than a month away now, and the United Way of the Bluegrass wants to help you get your taxes done for free. They hosted their Super Saturday free tax prep event today. As WKYT's Samantha Valentino shows us, there's still time for you to get some help when it comes to Uncle Sam.
It's just like getting your taxes done anywhere else, except it's free.
United Way of the Bluegrass's VITA program offers free tax preparation services throughout the tax season, helping to return millions of dollars to local taxpayers. They hosted their Super Saturday free tax prep event on Saturday.
It's not inexpensive to have your taxes done. So for folks who maybe need those extra dollars, it's a great opportunity for them to build a nest egg or to be able to sort of improve their own financial future by being able to keep all of their return.
Gary Cremines is the Director of Community Impact for United Way of the Bluegrass. He says it's important for people to have access to free and safe help when it comes to their taxes.
A lot of other businesses out there that take advantage of folks. And sort of it's more of a payday loan than really a tax preparation. So the IRS really wants folks to not get caught up in that.
Here, they can work with volunteers who are trained and certified by the IRS and walk them through the process.
Our United Way staff is here to guide them through the process. And I think that's more than anything, there's a little bit of hesitancy coming in, but once they meet with us and then meet with our volunteers who are amazing, they feel very comfortable and very relieved when they leave that they've got it all taken care of.
In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Now, if you couldn't make it out to today's event, you can dial 211 and make a free appointment. VITA tax services are available to anyone who earns less than $62,000 in 2023. Tonight, we are learning why the Sherman-Minton Bridge was shut down yesterday in Louisville. On Wednesday, night crews had removed some temporary bracing to pour concrete when they noticed some beams were out of alignment. Around noon yesterday, the Renewal Project announced that they would be closing both lanes to make repairs. They still don't have a timeline on when that bridge might reopen, but in the meantime, drivers should use the 2nd Street Bridge or the I-65 toll bridge. Attorney General Russell Coleman urging the Franklin Circuit Court to end its death penalty ban. There's been a stay on executions in Kentucky since 2010. Coleman filed a motion with the court to end that ruling. Right now, there are 26 Kentucky inmates on death row, and no executions have happened since 2008. Lawmakers filing a bill in the House this session to abolish the death penalty. House Bill 38 has not yet been assigned to a committee. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are campaigning in the battleground state of Georgia today as they look ahead to the general election in November. As Christian Benavides reports, President Biden hopes to build on his State of the Union speech earlier in the week.
With dueling rallies in Georgia, former President Donald Trump is on the campaign trail today, poised to deliver his first public speech since President Biden's fiery State of the Union address. The former president looks to build momentum after recent polling showing him ahead of Biden.
Joe Biden is on the run from his record and lying like crazy to try and escape accountability.
As Biden looks to capitalize on his energetic State of the Union address.
My predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, do whatever the hell you want.
The Biden campaign is boosting resources, planning a $30 million media blitz over the next 6 weeks, opening roughly 100 field offices and more than tripling the number of staff members in a new ad addressing the question polls show is on voters' minds, his age.
I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. But here's the deal. I understand how to get things done for the American people.
The Trump campaign hit back with this ad titled Not a Young Guy. With the primaries now in the rearview mirror, both candidates are focusing on a long campaign road ahead. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
The Trump team is also focused on trying to close a significant fundraising gap. Records from February show the Biden campaign and DNC have roughly double the cash on hand compared to Trump's team and the RNC. Well, every year, pet owners across America send in their furry friends with the hopes of them being chosen as this year's Cadbury Bunny. Meet Mia. She's a 1-year-old adopted cat from Nicholasville. Her owners say she lost one of her legs after she was found abused and abandoned. They say they hope that Mia's presence in this contest will bring awareness to animal cruelty and abuse.
We just wanted to raise awareness for animals that have been rescued and have special needs, and raise awareness for forgotten felines as well, which is the rescue that we got these from.
Mia sure is cute. Coming up at 10 on the CW and 11 o'clock on WKYT, our Jessica Umbro will have more about Mia's story and how you can vote for the only Kentuckian semifinalist in this year's Cadbury Bunny contest.
Well, clearing out and cooling down. That's the story for the rest of this weekend. Coming up, I'll talk about what we can expect as we go through the next couple days.
And still ahead, daylight saving time begins tonight, but what are some health risks that could come with it? WKYT will be right back after this break.
With over 100 years.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's cut to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free. Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's cut to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.
People living around Fort Knox can expect those loud booms to return this summer. The reconstruction efforts at Yana Range are now complete. They've turned the more than 3,000-acre area into a digital air-ground integration range. It'll have 300 targets to let soldiers take on all different kinds of scenarios. Fort leadership says it carries a $56 million price tag and will get the military ready to deal with any situation as tensions rise around the world.
When you look at a ground maneuver element, folks operating on the ground and integrating with aviation elements, it's ranges like this where you can actually practice that craft and practice how we fight overseas. Whether that's daytime, nighttime operations, but to be able to integrate both the air and the ground and receive that feedback through the targetry, it's increasing lethality for the force, so it's making us better prepared.
Fort Knox will notify surrounding communities a few days in advance whenever they are doing training exercises. Overnight tonight, we will begin daylight saving time, making Kentuckians set their clocks forward by an hour. WKYT's Alexa Mittens talked with a local physician about some of the associated health risks with time change.
It's that time of year again when folks have to do the dreaded spring forward, losing an hour in order to preserve daylight in the evening hours. And while many are annoyed by the simple loss of an hour of sleep, time changes can pose serious health concerns too.
When the hour change where you spring forward or you fall back, you change the body's circadian rhythm, basically your internal clock.
Circadian rhythms are the mental and physical changes our body cycles through in a 24-hour period. There are loads of different factors that can affect our behavior during our circadian cycle, but one key factor comes from periods of light and dark.
So it gets things a little off kilter. It can affect hormone levels like cortisol levels, melatonin levels, and those things in turn have an effect on cardiovascular. We do see a little bit increased risk of stroke, heart attacks in the first few days after the change.
But entering daylight saving isn't all bad. The concept was originated to give folks more daylight in the evening hours during the summer months, hopefully increasing productivity.
Health-wise, I guess the biggest thing that they say, well, we've got more daylight hours to be outside, to be healthy, and to be exercising. And that's probably true, but it doesn't work unless you get outside and exercise.
And whether you're a fan or not, Dr. Fox says that there are steps you can take to keep that sleep schedule regular despite the time change.
Maybe if you have the opportunity, make your schedule change. Don't make it change an hour, make it change 15 minutes day one, half an hour day two. Pay attention to the light, pay attention to getting enough sleep. So a gradual change is the thing.
Alexa Minton, WKYT.
Right now, there is a bill in the House of Representatives that's pushing to keep Kentuckians on standard time year-round. House Bill 674 is awaiting committee assignment, but if passed, tonight would be the last time Kentuckians spring forward. Then in November, the state would fall back permanently to standard time.
Well, it is a chilly and a little bit of a showery night out there right now. We take a look at downtown Lexington, and it's cloudy and yeah, a little bit cool out there. You're seeing temperatures generally into the 40s. We go through this evening, we'll continue to see temperatures fall through the 40s as those showers start to move out of the area. Really only seeing a stray shower left over in southern Kentucky by around 9 p.m. And then by 11, we'll pretty much all have cleared out as we start to see those clouds clear as well. We look at it tomorrow, and we're going to have a cold start to that mix of sun and clouds throughout the day. Chilly and breezy as we start out in the low to mid-30s and climb up only into the mid to upper 40s into the afternoon. So it's going to be a chilly day. Again, I mentioned temperatures right now are into the 40s. We still got plenty of cloud cover. We have some light showers right now that continue to move across portions of southern Fayette County into Madison County, Richmond, over towards Lancaster area, into Stanford, Mount Vernon, also into parts of Jackson County and into Estill County, not too far from Irvin there. Seeing some of that light rain and a little bit more steadier rain in southeastern Kentucky right now. We got some heavier pockets of rain across Clay County, just east of Manchester, not too far from Hazard there in northwestern parts of Perry County and parts of Breathitt County into the Hyman area, seeing at least some light, some moderate rain at the moment. And really, as we look at the hour-by-hour forecast, we'll continue to see things clear out as we go through the rest of the night. Temperatures will be falling down into the 30s as we go into the overnight. We'll wake up tomorrow morning generally right around the freezing mark, low to mid-30s, as that cloud cover starts to will have pretty much gone away. Notice by even noon tomorrow, we're still stuck on the upper 30s, and then by the time we hit later on the afternoon, we top out into the mid to upper 40s. Very cold again as we go into tomorrow night as temperatures will dip down to the 30s through the evening, and we wake up on Monday morning more into the upper 20s to around 30. Then we go into the day on Monday, we start to see some improvements. Notice there's just no cloud cover whatsoever for Monday. We'll be into the mid to upper 50s, 4-hour highs, before we again see things Tuesday morning fall back down into the upper 30s, mid to upper 30s for most of us. But again, as we go into tonight, you're going to want to move those clocks 1 hour forward. That will be, of course, across our area tonight. And well, what does that do to our sunrise and sunset? Well, sunrise is going to be pretty late tomorrow morning, 7:55 a.m. Take a look at this sunset, though. 7:40, so not bad there. Of course, we're going to be losing an hour of sleep, but this time tomorrow, it's still going to be daylight out. Take a look at that 7-day forecast. You can see overall mid to upper 40s for tomorrow, mid-50s for Monday, and mid-60s for Tuesday, and then into the upper 60s as we go into Wednesday. So we're going to start climbing those temperatures up day by day as we go into next week. We'll be into the 70s by the time we hit Thursday before we see another system arrive, bring some showers into the area, and we'll start cooling down. But again, the good news is we're drying out a little bit. We've had quite a few rainy days recently, so it'll be nice to dry out.
Give the plants and everyone a chance to recover and All right, thanks so much, Ben. Still ahead, how a Louisville group is working to make sure colon cancer doesn't go undiagnosed amongst young people. We'll have that and more when we return.
And Don Franklin.
Revolutionize your skincare routine with Dime Beauty. Our optimized skincare collection is your companion for all stages of life. Embrace your skin with clean, effective, and affordable luxury. Dime's all-encompassing approach keeps your skin hydrated, balanced, and radiant. Customize your own routine and experience skin wellness that nurtures you all day, every day. Shop now at dimebeautyco.com and unlock special savings this month.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's go to the Zine logo before I do some sexy, overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.
More and more young people are getting diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and now some Kentucky groups are working to raise awareness about what to look out for and how to prevent it. The Kentucky Cancer Program and U of L were at the YMCA in the California neighborhood of Louisville to educate people. They had colorectal cancer screenings for people 45 and older. There was also a replica of the human colon to demonstrate the kind of symptoms that doctors look for.
Is that we used to think it was a disease for older people, but starting at age 45 now, we are making sure that we are getting people screened. Diet and exercise is important, so just giving people lifestyle behavior changes that we need to make to be healthy.
Now, if you notice a change in your bathroom habits, blood in your stool, or consistent discomfort in or around your stomach, you should talk to your doctor. Marine traffic came to a screeching halt yesterday on part of the Ohio River near Louisville. 10 barges carrying coal broke free Friday afternoon after leaving the McAlpine Lock and Dam. 8 of them came to a rest on the L&I Railroad Bridge. 2 were partially submerged near a hydroelectric plant. Now, it's not clear how it happened. The Coast Guard was working with the Army Corps of Engineers and the L&I Railroad to clear them out of the way. No injuries were reported. In just 1 month, a solar eclipse will sweep across the country. NASA is planning to study the scientific phenomena and bring that experience to everyone. Scientists will observe the eclipse and study the sun in that moment. Dr. Pulkkinen with NASA says that the moon blocks the sun's light, making it easier to see the dimmer areas in the solar atmosphere.
It's almost like a laboratory experiment for us. We turn the light off in some, selected areas of the upper atmosphere and observe what the response will be, and new physics will result.
The Great American Solar Eclipse is April 8th. After this total eclipse, the next one in the U.S. will be in 2044. And we'll be right back after this break, but before we go, let's take a look at tonight's Powerball jackpot. It's up to $521 million. Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $735 million. WKYT will be back after this.
With over 100 years.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Z, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. You're too smart for that. Let's go to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free. Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Zine, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. Zine. You're too smart for that. Let's go to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.
Wasn't really a pleasant day out there. Cold, rainy, windy, cloudy.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, at least for tomorrow to finish off the weekend. But we are going to see temperatures increase as we go through the next couple days. We're going to stay pretty dry over the next couple days as well. That'll be a good sign. We'll be back up in the upper 60s, low 70s by mid to late next week. And then we'll see some showers arrive next time, really Friday of next week. We foresee a little bit of a cool down again, but
I like the direction that we're trending there.
Yeah, it's coming
upwards.
down. It's going all the way down for tomorrow. Then it slowly goes back up. We just start climbing the hill, and then it crashes a little bit as we go into late next week.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow we get through, and then we'll keep going on the up and up. Thanks so much, Ben. We appreciate you for joining us for our news. We'll see you right back here tonight for your news at 11. Remember, you can always find us over on WKYT.com.
Hello, Lexington. I'm your celebrity spokesperson for Zine, the new way to stream local news, sports, and events from all over the country. But Zine speaks for itself. It doesn't need a celebrity spokesperson to tell you to download Zine. Besides, an ex-teen idol like myself might resort to pandering gimmicks. Zine. You're too smart for that. Let's go to the Zine logo before I do some sexy overdramatic ending, huh? Lexington, stream local TV from all over the country with Zine. Always local, always free.